Yeah, I'm good. You guys use the mic. All right, so the idea is that we're going to start with that culture with your team. That's where you start, the people that you're bringing in to help you impart who you are, what your brand is. So I think we'll just do a quick show of hands to get started. Who in here, just raise your hand if you're the founder of your company. So we've got some founders. How about raise your hand if you have under 25 franchisees? Okay, 26 to 100. And then 100 plus. Okay, because it's very different if you're sole culture owner and then if you're trying to bring people along. So we're going to start with that idea of the culture within your own team and your own franchisees. So I want to start from the beginning, and since Shannon started her brand, let's start with you on how did you think about culture when you were starting this brand?
Yes. Okay. So, I'm a co-founder of my brand and started the brand 25 years ago this month. And I did not really even think about culture. It was not even a term back then. 1997, we weren't talking about culture. I don't think it even came into my mindset probably until we had about 50 franchise owners. I heard an icon in the business, Dina Dwyer, start talking about culture. And if you haven't looked her up, look her up, Dina Dwyer. And so that was kind of when I started thinking about culture. And so kind of what I want to say from a founder perspective is if you don't, I know early on in your business, you're not thinking about culture. What you're thinking of is, I need money, I need franchisees, I need help, I'm drowning, and you will feel like that for a really long time. It's just part of it. Even when you start adding franchise owners and you start adding people to your brand, those problems and issues and challenges and opportunities, they will still be there. They'll just be in a different form. And so culture can very easily be pushed to the bottom of the list. It just can. And I kind of feel silly being on this panel because when we sat in our practice session of with these amazing CEOs to my left, I was listening to the things that they are doing in their amazing brands, and I was like, I do not even need to be on this panel. So you guys are gonna, you're sitting at the feet of some wonderful CEOs who have a lot of great things to say. And I was taking copious notes while they were talking in our practice session for this panel. But I will say, your people are looking to you, right? And you set the pace for your culture. So if you don't have a plan for your culture, that's what's going to happen, right? And so I feel like in our brand, I was the culture because I was the co-founder. And so part of my personality is I'm irrationally optimistic. And so those were the types of people that were drawn to the brand. I'm also a Christian. My husband's a pastor. So those were the people that were drawn to my brand. And so you kind of have to think through, what type of people do I want to draw to my brand? And think about that I have a lot to say on core values. I have a lot to say on culture now, but in the beginning, that was kind of how we started.
Yeah, and when we had our prep call, I like that you said, everybody starts their business with a business plan, but there's no people plan. There's no core values, there's no culture. So just thinking about that if you're in the early stages of how you do that. So Kim, I want to go over to you. So I will say, in the app, there's a section that has PDFs in it, and we gave them, there's a sheet in there that's called Culture, Culture, Culture. All of the resources, and Kim has stuff that she put on the table, everything's available to you in the app, so you can get it after, and that will help you also get things started. But Kim, talk us through, so we talked about, so in the beginning, just keep it simple, but be mindful of the culture that you're creating by the way that you lead or bring people on. So Kim's going to talk about her exercise she just recently did with her team, which is one of the ways.
Yeah, well, oops. Can I use that one? I like mics, but that one is, yeah. So I have a little case study here for you. I passed some of them out if you want to just go find this little thing, and I can walk you kind of through what I did. We do, in my company, we do EOS, and I was in a quarterly pulsing a little over a year ago, and one of my executives thought that we had a culture issue. And when she first... EOS is, it's off of the book Traction. It's Entrepreneurial Operating System, Gino Wickman. And we were, she mentioned, you know, because of half of us being remote now and us not always being in the office together, that we had lost that culture that we had. And when she first said it, I was like, there's like a few things I hate. One of them is whining. And I thought, oh, she's just whining. And that was kind of my attitude towards it at first. But it got put as one of our, you know, company rocks. So, and yeah, which is a goal. And so I had to take it on because not only was it my job, but it was one of the 5 things under my name on the org chart was culture. And so I put together a little survey, and this is kind of the survey. I gave you all the questions that I asked. Some of them they rated, you know, like likely, most likely, or and then some of them were open-ended. So like the first question you can see was, my company is a great place to work. My company's goals, vision, and values are clear to me. The Learning RX home office has a strong, positive culture. Our executive team communicates clearly and openly. I would recommend a job at Learning RX to a friend. I am happy with my overall job. How would you describe our company culture? How can we better create connection between staff? Definitely in this new hybrid where half of our people don't even live in our state anymore. Do you have any suggestions of how we could team build remotely? It was really the question there. And then what do you wish your executive team knew or understood? So those are the questions I sent out. And what I learned from that, if you look at the bottom, were kind of the themes for the long answer questions. They were concerned about the growth of our company. They were concerned about what is the future going to be like. They had some questions about our profit sharing. They also wanted recognition. They wanted to feel valued. And there was some management inconsistency that we discovered. And then also, they wanted more communication, more collaboration, and more celebration. So those were kind of the themes. So once they took the survey, I think an important thing when you do take a survey is that you then take action. And so if you flip onto the other side, I kind of put 5 things into motion, and I'm just kind of giving you a little example of what those things are. The first thing is I started a good news segment once a month, and we just call it Good News with Kim. And I go to all the department heads and I ask them for some good news. I put it together in a little slideshow and I go through and show it to them. So I gave you a few examples. Like one slide there has some scorecard numbers that went up. Also, for example, we had a franchisee that was honored, and so I have like 3 or 4 slides once a month that I just give them good news about the future. Also, they thought that the way we were recognizing them was tired. And so we recognize when you run EOS, you are supposed to hire, fire, and recognize according to your values. And so we were kind of doing this like once a month. We were picking one employee to recognize, and it was getting tired. So I changed it up, and we have 5 values. There's also 5 ingredients in a taco. And so I started a Slack channel called Taco Time. And what we do is we just give a shout out to, or give a taco to someone who is displaying some of our values. So the only rule is that you hashtag them, and then you say the value that you see them displaying. And so I kind of have a little Slack channel there where you can see, and then once a month we just pull out a winner from everyone who is mentioned, and we give them a $25 gift certificate to Fuzzy Tacos. So,
this is, so I'm gonna move this forward.
yeah, go ahead.
Please do not take it personally, but we gotta roll. So the idea is don't ask the questions if you're not going to do something with the information. Don't waste your team's time or create frustration and like they ask, but they're not doing anything. So.
And I like all these things
Yes.
Ken has done, but how old is your brand?
18 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And-
just
and
don't
these-
be overwhelmed by all this.
Yeah.
Here, like take one thing and I can do this.
Yeah, but these ideas also translate to what your franchisees could be doing within their
Yes,
organization. So I think that there's a lot of stuff that you can
Yeah.
do and model for your franchise owners.
Yeah.
In thinking about the way they create culture within their organizations. So, okay, so now I want to go to Linda and Susan. I'm going to start with Linda, but let's talk about when you have a larger system that you weren't in charge of that culture or that brand where it's at. What are some of the first things you do to assess that culture or to start either trying to make changes or put your own feeling or stamp on the brand? So Linda, let's start with you.
So when I first arrived about 5.5 years ago, the culture was not where it needed to be. It was a little country clubbish, if you would. So, and that's just a fact. So I really truly believe that if you don't design your own culture, it will be designed for you. So although you may not be thinking, do I really need to set the stage? Do I need to design the culture? Yes, you do, because it's your culture. You want to be the leader, right? Shadow of the leader. So, you know, we've done surveys, we did some of those things, but I really studied what Google did, and that's the Aristotle Project. It's about high-performing employees, right? So it's not really about adding all these layers, in my opinion, to folks that really don't want to be a high performer, right? So it's about hiring somebody who's a 7 that wants to be a 10. And what was so interesting about that project, it was not about hiring a 6 that wants to be a 7. It's a 7 that wants to be a 10. So you might say, well, Linda, geez, why don't you just go out and hire 10s? Well, we'd like to, but don't you want somebody who's really striving to be the best? So that was very eye-opening. Then from there, we set what we call fundamentals. So it's 34 ways of how we show up. And that was by Culture by Design from David Friedman. I had the opportunity to see him speak. He was awesome, and it really resonated. Now, on the cover of the book, it's a blue cover book. You can get it in Amazon. It actually says 8 easy ways. And I know you're thinking, 8 easy ways. That's what I thought. It really is easy to implement. There's also, we use his app, and that's something that we've done. We've done that for now 3 years. And everybody in the organization has an opportunity to write about that fundamental of the week, or what we call the Reader's Way. And we don't start a meeting with 2 or more people unless we talk about the fundamental of the week. We also call people out on it, right, which is really the Aristotle Project. If you're not willing to let somebody go and promote them to a guest, then at that point, really, they shouldn't be on your team. So you have to call people out. If they're not fitting, we don't call it onboarding, it's assimilating. So those are all the ways that we put that in place, and it didn't happen overnight. And I'm not saying it's perfect, but we're way on our way.
Love it. All right, and then Susan, so tell us about what I think you did very similar things. You got feedback from your stakeholders when you came in, but you guys have done a lot of really cool things with your team and how you're involving them more, and I'd love for you to share some of those ideas.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll try and be real quick. Overall, I have a philosophy, so does my team, of listen, learning, and leading. So we listened to the team, we listened to the franchisees. We learned a lot. We did surveys. We also met with them, met with franchisees in roundtables, met with our team in a meeting, and we put together a plan, just like you would a marketing plan, just like you would a business plan. And one of our core pillars is about people and culture, and we develop tactics that really focus on culture. We have a culture team. We also have a culture team with our franchisees, And it's not just words. They actually really get into it, and they put together strategies and tactics to help the culture. From a team standpoint, I'll just rattle off a few tactics that may be helpful. We have our team meetings once a month, and we start with our core values, and they reflect on their core values. I have leadership team meetings every Monday with our team, and we start off with gratitude.
I love that.
And it's you asked me 10 years ago, I would have said it's hokey. I mean, it's like, really? No, it is. And Russell's sitting right there, who I just promoted as Chief Operating Officer for Massage Heights. Sorry, Russell. Culture. We did it at the conference too. So if you ever want to do something really cool at a conference, promote one of your team members. But it was great. We start off with gratitude. The 8 leaders we have, and we just express appreciation and gratitude, and it uplifts us, and we go on to our agenda. We have from our team standpoint, what they told us is, of course the hybrid works for us, but wellness. So we have a monthly wellness allowance for the team. They can use it for workouts, meditation, Weight Watchers, whatever's important to them. We invest with our team, Some are getting their CFEs. Some are just benchmarking and, they're doing online courses, et cetera. But really, most of all, with the team, we empower them. We truly empower them. And we came up with our own team core values. We do have corporate values, but it was important for the team to establish their own. So that's what they live by. Real quickly, from a franchisee standpoint, again, we have a culture committee, which is very impactful. We also have quarterly culture roundtables. And many of you probably have done these best practices with your franchisees. In our case, it's with our regional directors, franchisees, or therapists. They share best practices. The most well-attended sessions ever are done by the people. And a lot of it's on culture and leadership. And most recently, we just finished our conference, and we had a lady named Delise Simmons out of San Antonio. She was with Southwest Airlines, was also very instrumental in forming JetBlue and organizing that. And she spoke on the culture of ROI and people, and leadership's culture, culture's leadership. And we had great breakout sessions, but we're also carrying it into modules, and they're pretty affordable. I mean, very affordable. We're going to do monthly system modules with her, and they're just different topics every month. Our whole system can engage with them, and our first one's October 18th. So we're not waiting until next year. We're acting immediately because our whole focus was on leadership and culture. So I can go on and on and on, but I guess the headline is you got to have a plan. So we have a plan for our franchisees. We have a plan for our people. I think I've uploaded the templates for you, Michelle, for everyone. They can certainly take a look at.
Well,
yeah.
You also shared your core values.
Oh, yes, I have my own core values. We should all have our own core values. So that was kind of an important message. So I will turn it back to you,
Well,
Michelle.
so Kim had also mentioned in our call that she starts her meetings or calls off with good news. So that idea of gratitude or good news costs you nothing, and it kind of sets a more positive tone to any interactions that you're having with people. So those are free ideas for you. And again, having a plan around your culture is great, but it can be daunting to just get started. Like do something, and then you can add things on. So before I was going to say, go ahead. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, how many of you guys are getting feedback from your teams, from your franchisees, from your stakeholders in your organizations? And do any of you guys have some free or low cost ideas too that we haven't shared yet that you'd like to, you're feeling great and would like to stand up and share with everybody? No, you guys have no ideas?
My name's Alicia Biscotti. I'm actually a supplier. I'm a transit or a broker network, so it's a little different switch, but the culture applies
Yes.
for it, no matter what you are. So we do a couple of different things. One of the things that my slowly get right? So they were talking about changing your culture to get them to do what you want with your franchisee or your department. So one of the things that we do, thank you. I'm from Jersey. Usually I don't even need a microphone, but I'm turning into a squeaky dolphin today, I must tell you. I've been on the road. But anyway, some of the things that we do, just real quick on that, like one of the panelists said, when we have a call, we have a go around real quick and something happy. They get like 5 seconds to say what's going on happy. It can be personal, or it can be in business. And that changes the mood for any meeting that you're going to have by phone. And they look forward to it. The other thing that we do on something, we've changed verbiage, right? So we went from being corporate, my team being, I'm the CEO, so we went from being corporate, right, to being headquarters. Changes the feel when you talk about corporate. Why do people come into franchising? Because they don't like corporate. They leave their corporate job. So why are we calling ourselves corporate, right? We changed it to headquarters. And the other thing that we did in terms of just recognition type of thing, we get these little, they're ridiculously cheap, all right? They're these little things, and it has, "You are a rock star." And it's just adorable. And I have somebody who just, when something is happening, something good, somebody does something, we just send those out on a regular basis. And core values, we have 3. We start major meetings, or that's really important. Your people are looking at you all the time, even when you don't think they're looking at you. So always remember your core values. We have something like a 93% of, and I have over 600 brokers, right? So I have a large group. We have something over like 93% who know the core values verbatim. So that's it for me. I'm saving my voice and I'm saving your ears.
Awesome, thank you. And Shannon, if you want to just pipe in what you were going to share too.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say, we did the same thing with changing our name from corporate to Franchise Support Center, because our job is to support the franchise owners. And it felt weird to say we're corporate or we're the headquarters, so we're Franchise Support Center. So I will say we did something in 2015. I'm gonna come back up there, sorry. We realized that part of our culture was giving back, and but we weren't, all of our franchises gave back to their community in the form of in-kind donation. So we're a pop-up marketplace for families to buy and sell gently used children's and maternity clothes, toys, and baby equipment. And at the end of the events, we have unsold merchandise that either the consigners can pick up or it can go to a nonprofit. And we weren't really talking about that. And so we just recognized that we needed to, it was something everyone was doing, but we weren't talking about it because it felt weird to talk about, oh, we're so good. We're so good. We're doing this. And really what it was is that our community, our consigners, the families participating in our events, were the ones that were doing the giving. So we felt weird saying, we're doing this. We were facilitating the gift. But guess what? It made everyone in the community feel amazing when we said, oh my gosh, these 500 families that participated in this event just gave $500,000 in donations to this local charity. And so we have a,
Shannon, don't you do something, I can't remember the story, but when we had our interview, you did something too where you sponsor someone to get to go and shop or something?
well, we do a lot of things for the giving back side, but that was actually one of our franchisees. So it kind of goes down into the franchisee. So there's a book called The Go Giver. If you want to be inspired to give back in your franchise system, start handing that book out to your franchisees. We give it away at training, and I get to give a really sappy story where everybody cries. But we give the book The Go Giver away, and it inspires people to get involved in their community and have a bigger purpose than making money, right? Which, of course, we want our franchisees to be satisfied and make money. But yeah, so one of our franchise owners actually gave each of their team members in the event $100 and said, this week at the event, I want you to give this money away. I don't have to know where or how you've given it away, but it empowered the team members to be the person to go and give $100 away to someone who needed it. And so how fun. So the team got to come back later and say, oh my gosh, I had a single mom who had 3 kids, and she had $20 to buy all of her kids' clothes for back to school. And I just happened to see her in line only buying this much. And I knew she needed more money, and this person bought the car seat for the new mom who didn't have the money to buy the car seat. I mean, I could go on and on and on. So it's those types of things. And then because we wanted to see it more and more, and these are things that can apply to your own brand, wherever the core value that you choose, we decided to start giving a community impact award away every year. And it is equal to our Franchise of the Year award. And we don't spend a lot of money on it, you guys. It's a self-submission. They have to tell us what good stuff they do throughout the year. It's self-submission. There's criteria that they have to meet. They submit it. It gets judged by an outside party. Several people in this room have judged my franchise submissions, and they get $1,500. They get to keep $750, and $750 goes to their charity partner. So it's just, it's fun stuff like that.
Yeah, I love that, Shannon. Two quick things. We just finished our conference, and we gave a culture award to the franchisee. It was the most prestigious award given, so it's something to think about. If you're really focused on it, then reward and recognize. The other thing which I love, which obviously was started many, many years ago at Massage Heights, while helping the community, we have Massage Heights Family Fund, and it was started by Shane's family and her mom, and I'm really passionate about it because it's helping our franchisees' employees, those that suffer from tragedy, situations just like what's going on right now in Florida. We have a fundraising and a fund that helps with grants with whether it's therapists, RDs, estheticians that are in need of situations. And it's been like 14, 15 years. We raised $30,000 just at our conference the other day. It's internal. It's not external, but I think there's a strong belief to help your internal team in time of need, and certainly it's always important to help the community externally, but I think there's something there. And so in our therapists, everyone donates to it, and we're going to really take it to a new level so we can really raise more dollars and help more of the families of the franchisees who do experience tragedy and cancer and are off from work. And I mean, the stories go on and on and on. So it's just something to think about. I've not been in a brand. I've been in 9 brands, haven't been in a brand where that existed, and it's really kind of heartfelt.
Yeah, and I think that there's something that is happening right now where franchisors are trying to figure out how do we help our franchisees create these cultures that people want to work in, because they're all struggling. And you can't dictate how they run their business, but you can do things like this that link to their businesses. And you can also make sure that you're involving all the franchisees more in your culture so they see this. And to that, Linda, I would love for you to talk about just the way that you highlight diversity in your brand and you celebrate all the people in your brand and how that's helping them do the same in their own organizations. We have 5 minutes. 5 minutes? Got it.
Sure. Just real quick, we like all of you, we try to share best practices out there and really highlight those great stories. And I had the opportunity to work with franchisees that were actually down in Orlando. And, finding quality talent and people to work in your shop or your retail organization or your company is a challenge, right? We all know that. So we are very involved right now with the Eagles here in Philadelphia, Autism Foundation, but that happened through us discovering these 2 franchisees in Orlando. And they hire neurodiverse individuals, able bodies, and one of the franchisees, he himself, he will admit that he has autism, and throughout his career, his early career, he was only allowed to wash tables and clean things, and he knew that he could do more than that. And he became a franchisee with the help of his parents and his partner, and he has reached out and have a lot of folks in the shop that are neurodiverse, and they are full functioning, and it was so heartwarming. So we brought that to other franchisees. Like, there's other opportunities out there. You just don't have to say, it's hard to find help. So because of that, we are now partnered with the Eagles Autism Foundation, and it's allowed us to be more community partners in other areas of the country as well, too, just because it's such a valuable opportunity for us to give back.
Yeah, well, and I was gonna say, so Jim, if you wanna go, and if anyone has a quick question that we can answer for you, feel free to get ready to ask that.
So I feel like this is super timely. I do temperature check calls with about 5 of my franchise owners just to keep a pulse on the franchise. I have a president now, so I'm not as involved in my brand as I used to be. And so I just like to do temperature checks. And I have a franchise owner that is very high performing now. So our average unit volume, we're a seasonal business, is about $235,000 a year. So it's not huge. And when she bought her location, she's my Woodbury, Minnesota franchise owner. When she bought her location, I think it was doing $150,000. So it was below average. And she came in, and her first event, she almost did Top Achiever, which Top Achiever to us is a $100,000 event, which it's awesome. And then she continued to blow it out of the water. Like, I think her last event, she almost did I think she did $359,000. And this is $359,000 in sales in 5 days, okay, of gently used children's and maternity items. Okay, not retail. We're talking 50 to 90% off. So, like, I mean, that's amazing. And she does that 2 times a year. And so I'm like, Sue, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I kind of want to cry just even talking about it, because this is not something I have taught her, right? But these are things you can learn from, and I can learn from, right? We can take great cues from our top achieving franchise owners who are doing things well. They can teach us these amazing things. And she said she did Business Made Simple. It's a book, Business Made Simple. I'm forgetting the guy's name. It's old age. Okay, you can look it up. Business Made Simple, some very famous guy. Okay, that I'm going to be mad at myself about later. But where you have to come up with a mission statement for your franchise, you have to come up with key characteristics for your franchise, and you have to come up with critical actions. So it's basically creating a culture for your team. Keep in mind, she is only around her team 2 times a year, once in the spring for 5 to 7 days, once in the spring. So it's hard to create culture with a very seasonal team. Donald Miller, thank you. Donald Miller, thank you. Also, yeah. So I said, please send me this. So she said her mission statement: we bring joy to families by hosting community events where families can get everything their growing kids need at prices that amaze and delight. Because when people don't have to worry about providing for their kids, they can focus on the joy of raising them. Who wouldn't want to get behind that? Okay? Key characteristics. Number 1, joy spreaders. We believe joy is contagious, and we delight in sharing happiness with everyone who walks in the door. Okay, so this is stuff she's telling her team. Number 2, solution-minded. We believe there is a win-win solution. I have goosebumps, you guys, to every problem. And we work together to fix short-term crisis and implement long-term improvements. And number 3, dedicated. We work hard because families depend on us and our events to provide for their children. Okay? Critical actions. How can we display these core values? Number 1, we smile broadly. If you're walking into that event and the team members are, don't you want to stay? Don't you want to be there? I mean, I'm like, no wonder. She says, we have an upbeat, positive attitude because our events help parents take care of their most precious gifts, children. Number 2, we solve problems. We are constantly overcoming challenges that arise and implementing creative improvements that make our event the best in the country. And number 3, we work together as a team. We encourage each other. We help each other be the best in our roles, and together we make amazing things happen.
And of course, that's not in our follow-up document, Shannon.
I know. Well, this is because she just sent this to me because it happened after.
You can give everyone your email address.
I know, but you guys, this is what our franchise owners are doing, right? And your franchise owners will do if they're not already doing it. And this is how they get from average to your top performers